This week on the Digital Coffee, LinkedIn have a new ad type and it includes a chatbot element. Instagram are testing sharing your Instagram Live into your IGTV, which is cool. And Facebook want to give you money. All that and more after this. Good morning, and welcome to the Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news for small business. My name is Amanda Webb. Let's start with that Instagram news. Instagram is currently testing sharing your Instagram Live videos to IGTV. So when you finish your IGTV broadcast, let's get it up on screen. You will have the option, as well as to share it to your story, where of course it will stay for 24 hours. You will be able to share it to IGTV, so it stays there forever. Thanks to Jane Munchin-Wong, who noticed this. This is great. It's great for us because it means that we don't lose those broadcasts. Of course, we can save them down to our phones afterwards. But what if we didn't? We don't lose them. That content can live on. It can get more eyes on our content. It can get more views. We can rely on it for a longer period of time. Of course, this is great. But it's also great for Instagram when you think about it, because recently they launched ads and monetizing for IGTV, which I think we talked about. It was big, but it's big for them because now the more content they have on that platform, the more space they have for advertising, the more ads they can sell. It's a win-win. And I think for businesses, apart from this being absolutely fabulous, I think for businesses, we can learn something from this as well, particularly at the moment, if you've got a little bit more time on your hands and you're looking at your processes. Is there something that is a little bit difficult for your customers to do? Is there a little bit of friction in your process? Now it's time to review your website. What happens when people apply? Have you got some automation set up to make it as easy as possible for customers to do things? Because if they do, then you'll get what you want, which is what Instagram want. They want more content on IGTV. By making it easier for us to put content there, they are achieving their goal. So I'm a big fan of this. Thank you, Instagram. But it's also made me think, do I need to revisit my processes and make things easier for people? Instagram are considering or testing letting you add more links to your Instagram. Firstly, in your profile. I'll talk about something else in a minute. But very interestingly, these are links to gift cards. So it's giving you option to link to a gift card that you may be selling. And we know that's the way a lot of businesses are surviving. Our pubs, our places that had to close down are surviving by selling gift cards. So Instagram, it looks like, are going to facilitate this. So you'll be able to add links to your profile. I had a look. I don't have this option yet. Jane has found it under Edit Profile. But the other thing is, if you could read the small print, which you can't, but I will link to the tweet after the show, you will see that it says it's not just a link in your profile. You'll be able to have stickers that will link out to where people can buy gift cards. Now, the whole setup, I'm not sure, are they going to be gift cards within Instagram? Is it something you'll have to set up on Facebook? Or whether you'll be able to just link to a gift card page on your website or a gift card tool, because I know they've done a lot of this with linking to things like Eventbrite in the past. But I think this is great. It's great to see how Instagram have reacted to something that people really need at the moment, and they look like they're going to give it to us. So they're looking at what their customers' needs are in this time of crisis and providing it, which I think is, again, something we need to think about now as businesses. Of course, we still need to make money, but how we do it and how we present it may need to change. So another big thumbs up for Instagram for that. I think it's amazing. LinkedIn are releasing a new ad type, or they've changed an old ad type, and it's going to feature a chatbot element. And why am I excited about this? Why am I excited? Well, I'm excited. I tend not to get excited by chatbots. Let's get it up so we can see what it does. here you go. So you'll send a message via LinkedIn through this advertising platform, and it will link to some options, some questions that people can click. They can get the answers that they want, and you will be able to integrate, as you saw just come up on the screen, a lead form. So it's a way to not directly push people to filling in a lead form. It's a way to get them interacting with you, get them to know you a little bit more before they push you into that. And what's interesting about this, they're calling them conversation ads. And if you remember a few weeks ago, when I did the digital coffee from Social Media Marketing World, we talked to Christine Gritman about the new stories that they're looking to put out. And as we mentioned at the time, LinkedIn is talking about this being a conversation. Everything, it seems to be the word they're really pushing, is conversation. If you remember a few weeks back, we looked at the new way that Facebook is testing sharing friendversaries when I got a quiz rather than just here's a video we made to celebrate your friendversary. And because it was interactive, I took part. And I think for all of us, that's what we can start thinking about, how we make our content more interactive. Is it through a chatbot like there? Is it through having some sort of quiz or some sort of process where people feel like they're getting to know us before we ask for the commitment? And as it happens, I came across a really good example of this yesterday. We're all surfing social media too much, right? So I found a competition from Your Style, Your Story, and I entered the competition. I had to choose a dress that I liked, and it brought me into a chatbot, and it brought me into a really interactive conversation on that chatbot, which gave me a discount, asked me if I wanted to sign up for the mailing list, but in a really good and conversational way. So even if it is just a chatbot, we need to think about ways that we can engage with people a little bit more. And fair play to Your Style, Your Story. And I think it was Sasha Lydiard that set that chatbot up. Well done to them. Instagram are testing disappearing text messages. And this is interesting because for a while we've had disappearing video messages that you could send and disappearing images that you could send. You can set a time limit on them that people can watch them for, or you can just make them disappear once they watch them. So this text style message is slightly different. What this is when you set up a private disappearing chat message, you can chat away with your friend for as long as you want, and then when you leave the chat, it's wiped, it's gone forever. And I've been thinking about how businesses might use this. Could this be a really good way to deliver a voucher code? You know, it gives it that immediacy that people will have to take it down straight away. They won't go back to it later to see if it works. How else could we use this for business? I think this is an interesting one. It's a feature obviously we've seen on Snapchat for a long time, but I think we need to really think about how that can get involved for business. Great tool. I think Instagram are making some really nice updates at the moment. Well, this is amazing news. Facebook is going to give you some money. It's going to give you some money. It is. Facebook have set up a scheme worth $100 million where they are going to give cash and Facebook ads credits to small businesses. At the moment, it's just in the pipeline. All you need to do is go and register with your email address and they'll keep you informed. We don't know what the parameters are. We don't know what the application process is going to be, but you will not know unless you apply. So this is quite generous from Facebook. I think it's nice. I think, you know, in general, the Facebook platforms have reacted quite well. We looked at that link from Instagram where they're allowing us to sell gift certificates, or hopefully will be soon. This is another good reaction, a way to give back to all of us who have basically supported the platform, right? So $100 million, but it is, even though it's in dollars, it's to be distributed to Facebook users all over the world. Lovely to see. I think these are the sort of things that will make us think of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp in a better light when this crisis is over. And again, I think that's a tip for you as a business. How are people going to see you after this crisis is how you react in the crisis. WhatsApp are in a bit of a pickle, aren't they? There's a lot of disinformation or misinformation being shared on WhatsApp at the moment. We know there was, no matter where you are in the world. I do think that the Dr. Tim message spread everywhere. I think it was to do with ibuprofen or something like that. And these messages spreading, there's a lot of misinformation spreading. So WhatsApp and Twitter, I'm going to talk about, no, not Twitter, Instagram, I'm going to talk about those in a moment, have both put some things in place to stop this happening so much. WhatsApp have, and sorry, this reads right to left rather than left to right. So we start on the right hand side. If they see that a message has been shared multiple times on WhatsApp, has it been forwarded multiple times, they're going to start putting in the option that you can look for verification about whether this is true or not. So for responsible people like you, this is good news. You'll be able to put a search into Google directly from WhatsApp. You'll be able to see related videos to see the context of the message you're getting, and it will give you the opportunity to make a better decision about it. Now, I'm going to say any forwarded message on WhatsApp to do with the current crisis, I would tend to ignore. I know this is a mad time, so I'm just relying on verified news sources from journalists, from our institutions. Now, that may or may not be a good decision, but at the moment, I think that we need to trust someone, and that's who we should trust. I am seeing social media professionals, people in my industry sharing bad information on Facebook. Just stop. Unless it comes from a verified source, we need to stop. And it's great to see that WhatsApp are tackling this. Instagram have put some stuff in place to stop the spread of false information. And I think at this time, it's really interesting. I think this is a time that's going to go down in history, but we are allowing our governments, and I think rightly so, I'm not complaining at all, to make a lot of big decisions for us, to take away a lot of the things that we used to being able to do, to go shopping, to leave the house, all sorts of things. And we understand why that's happening. And also the social networks are clamping down in a similar way, which I think is smart. Hopefully, for both the governments and the social networks, once this is over, it will relax a lot more. It's not going to stay in this draconian state. So Instagram are censoring a lot more than they would have done in the past, and the stuff that we can learn from what they're doing. So firstly, they are removing any accounts to do with COVID-19 from the Discover feed. You will not be able to find accounts. So don't think about putting COVID-19 isolation in your Instagram, stay at home COVID-19. Just do not use the words at all. Don't talk about health and how we can protect our health on your feeds at all, because that's going to flag this up. Which brings me on to the second thing. They're going to remove misleading information from the Explore tab. So the only people that will see any misleading information will be people in the feed. And I know this is curbing. I know a lot of people who believe in freedom of speech will think this is curbing their right to speak. But at this day and age, we've got to save people's lives. So I think that that is really important. They are downranking posts that talk about conspiracy theories and the like. That's my words, not theirs. So if you are talking about this is all a government conspiracy to keep the masses down, they want our economies to fail, you're not going to get those posts seen by as many people as you would have in the past. Now, like I say, I understand censorship. I don't like censorship. So I know that in normal times, this would be outrageous. But I think right now, to keep people safe, it really has to be done. You may have noticed that your Facebook content is getting flagged a lot. So one morning, I think it was last week, everyone woke up and all their Facebook posts had been blocked or banned or reported. And everyone was like, what is going on with Facebook? You may notice it's taken your ads a long time to get approved, much longer than usual. You may notice that you're being kicked out of your Facebook account and asked to log in because they think that it's been suspicious activity. So if you've noticed that, there is a reason. The reason is that Facebook, like all the rest of us, have had to change the way they work. So normally they have everyone famously on campus at Facebook, but this isn't good for social distancing and keeping your staff safe. So they've sent people home. And a lot of the security protocols haven't been set up yet. So they're relying heavily on their bots, on their machines to flag posts, to find posts. And I am actually quite happy that their machines are doing a bad job, because they're not going to take away anyone's job just yet. I know we're freaking about that in the future. So lots of stuff is getting flagged. They've got less human reviewers as a result. So things are taking time. So don't panic if any of those things happen. It's going to take a lot longer for you to get your ad account back if it's blocked. But hey, you may not be advertising too much at the moment anyway. One thing we can be sure to do to make sure our posts, the reach isn't pushed back, like I mentioned on Instagram, to make sure that our posts don't get flagged, although they still might, is to not mention the words COVID-19. I was very careful when I was writing the post for this. We don't mention coronavirus. We don't mention anything that could possibly be related to that. We find new ways of talking about stuff. And to be honest, if there wasn't news about how the social networks were responding to the crisis, I'm not sure I'd even be talking about it today. There is a lot of information out there without me adding to it. So just a tip, avoid those words, because that's the first thing that's going to get you flagged. I want to talk about, and lots of you have come up with tips, how we can market ourselves in the crisis. I think firstly, we need to be really aware of our audiences. Who are our audiences, and how are they being affected by this crisis? And it's not a case that nobody has any money anymore. There are lots of people who are being sent home on full pay from the people they work for, or there's people working from home on full pay and they can't go out the weekends and spend their money, so they may have money to spend. But the second thing to be aware of is that people seem to think that because you're running a business, you have loads of money. So you need to be really careful when you're selling to make sure, one, that you're selling something that people want, that people can make use of in this time. There is no point you setting up ads to go to the local pub, because we can't do that. You could, if your product isn't relevant right at the moment, you could look at this as an audience building opportunity. Look at how you have a good lead magnet. I'm currently putting together a course, if you don't have a good lead magnet, on how you can create and implement a lead magnet. I'll talk more about that on this Facebook page over the coming weeks. But could you be advertising that, using this as an opportunity to build your audiences, build your mailing list, build your Facebook group, get people to interact with you on Facebook, on social media? Because now is a time where, as I mentioned with how Facebook and Instagram are reacting, that people will remember how you were in this crisis. Were you desperately trying to sell them something they didn't need, or were you being a helpful resource? And I think when you put all those things in place, yes, for some of you, selling right now is really relevant. And I know a lot of you on these calls have taken a hit. We've all taken a bit of a hit from this crisis, but there is the products that you can sell now online maybe that will help people what they can do in their spare time, help people understand more about how they can be, I'm only thinking about my business now, growing their business, and if so, help them with that. Some of it for free, some of it you need to make money, so you do need to sell. And finally, there was a finally, don't jack up your prices. Don't be like that man in the garage in America. Was it America? Where he went and bought all the hand sanitizer, put it in a garage and tried to sell it in inflated prices. You're never going to look good at the end of that. So think about what you do now is going to be relevant to how your business functions when this is all over.